Chapter 2, Section 3 is solving one-step equations. And we start out by defining an equation. An equation is a statement where two things are equal. A statement where two things are equal. Statement where two things are equal. A solution is a value that makes the equation true. A value that makes the equation true. And now we have these two properties of equalities. The first one is an addition property of an equality. And it says if you have A equals B, then A plus C equals B plus C. You can add something to both sides of an equation and it's still true. And the subtraction property of equality says if A equals B, then A minus C equals B minus C. And we're going to use these properties to solve some equations. First equation is x plus 6 equals 14. Since this is a plus 6, we are going to subtract 6 from both sides. When we subtract, those cancel out, and 14 minus 6 equals 8. Number 2, we have a subtract 4, so we are going to add 4 to both sides, and those cancel out. And you are left with y equals 19. Number 3, excuse me, we're trying to get the m by itself. Here we have a negative 11, so we are going to add 11 to both sides. Positive 11, negative 11 cancel out, and you are left with m equals 44. Number 4, we have an r plus 0.4, so we are going to subtract 0.4 from both sides, and when we do that, 0.7 subtract 0.4 is 0.3 or 0.3. Number 5, we have some fractions. This is m minus 1.5. So the opposite of subtract is adding 1.5. 2/5 plus 1/5 is 3/5 equals m. And number 6, we have a negative 3/4 plus z. So to undo the negative 3/4, we are going to add 3/4 to both sides. And you are left with z equals 5 plus 3 is 8 over 4. And 8/4 reduces to 2. Now we have some story problems. 9 more than a number is 16. That becomes 9 plus n equals 16. When we solve this, we subtract 9 from both sides, and we are left with n equals 7. Number 8, 12 less than a number is negative 3. So we have to start with our number, subtract 12, and that equals negative 3. From there we add 12 to both sides. Negative 3 plus 12 is 9. Number 9, Billy has X dollars in his bank account. He is increasing the bank account with $413. So we start with X. He adds $413, and that equals $899. Solving that, we will subtract $413 from both sides, and when we cancel 899 minus 413 is $486. Number 10, over 20 years, the population of a town decreased by 275. So we had this population, it decreased by 275, and it ended up being 850. To undo a subtract 275, you add 275, and you are left with P equals 1,125 people. We have one more page in our notes today. The multiplication property of equality says if we have two things that are equal, then we can multiply C times A equals C times B. And the division property of equality, if A equals B, then A over C equals B over C. Looking at our first example, we are going to undo an 11 times x. And to undo an 11 times x, we divide both sides by 11. 60 divided by 11 is 5.45 repeating. Number 12, we have a negative 8 times y. You divide both sides by negative 8. 46 divided by negative 8 is a negative 5.75. Number 13, we have a p divided by 5. So we need to multiply both sides by 5. And 10 times 5 is 50. 14 is 5/9 times m. To get rid of this, you are going to multiply by the reciprocal. We're trying to get rid of a 5/9, so we multiply by the reciprocal. And on your calculator, you would do 35 times 9 divided by 5, and you should end up with, sorry, that's an m, equals 63. Number 15, we're trying to get rid of this 3/4. So we are going to multiply by 3/4. 3 times 5 is 15. 4 times 2 is 8. 3/4 and 4/3 cancel out, and you are left with 15 over 8 equals y. Number 16, I'm going to cross multiply these things first, if you remember these little helicopter things. And when you do that, 6 times 1 is 6. Negative 17 times a is negative 17a. And when you divide both sides by negative 17, you are left with a negative 6 over 17. Number 17, after taxes, Bill's take-home pay is 2/3 of his salary before taxes. So 2/3 of his total take-home or total money, so 2/3 of all of his money is what he takes home. And what he takes home is $575. To undo that, we will multiply both sides by 3/2. 575 times 3 divided by 2 is $862.50. Number 18, Chris puts 1/4 of the money he makes from mowing lawns into a college fund. So 1/4 of all of his money goes into his college fund. This year he added $285 to his college fund. So 1/4 of all of his money is $285. To get rid of a 1/4, you are going to multiply both sides by 4, and he then made $1,140 this year.